Hold on tight, because this story doesn't begin quietly. It begins with a door slowly creaking open inside Buckingham Palace, a door that has remained closed for years. Behind it, sources say the crown has approved something monumental. Not a warning, not a temporary order, but final, irreversible instructions that will forever alter the lives of 2 children. These orders focus on Archie, Harrison, and Lilet Diana, the children of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. For years, the world has waited, speculated, whispered, and wondered whether the palace would ever speak. Yet Buckingham Palace remained completely silent. Not a single word. That silence, for decades, became its own enigma, a mystery in itself. Now, that silence has begun to fracture. The royal institution, known for its unwavering rules, duties, and centuries of tradition, has quietly acted to remove Archie and Lilet from the royal line. Sources close to the palace claim the crown has decided to strip them of any royal recognition. No ceremonial titles, no acknowledgement as heirs, no position in the line of succession, and not even a footnote in the official records that document royal history. And here's what makes this so chilling. The palace did not announce this publicly. There were no press conferences, no televised statements, no royal trumpets, no fanfare. The decision was executed silently, coldly, and finally. Why? Because for the monarchy, this is never about emotion. It's not revenge, and it's not punishment. It is far more powerful than that. It is protocol, precision, and adherence to centuries-old rules. To truly understand why the crown acted now, and why this decision is permanent, we must travel back over 100 years. To a king whose actions shaped the very framework of the royal family as we know it today. That is where the real story begins. In 1917, the world was at war. Nations were collapsing. Empires were trembling. Monarchs were fighting desperately to maintain stability. Inside Buckingham Palace, King George V made a decision that would reverberate through the generations. He signed the Letters Patent of 1917, a set of royal rules so strict that even today, modern royals must follow them without exception. These rules answer one critical question: who is officially royal? Not who feels royal, not who is admired or famous, but who is formally recognized by the crown as a prince or princess. King George V established 3 absolute requirements. First, a legitimate royal bloodline. The child must descend from the royal family in a way formally recognized by the crown. Second, official birth registration. The child's birth must be documented, witnessed, verified, and recorded in the official archives. Third, connection to the Church of England. A royal christening is not mere tradition or ceremony. It is a legal, spiritual seal tying the child to the monarchy. These rules were designed to protect the crown from manipulation, political interference, or confusion, ensuring the lineage remained clear, unbroken, and unquestioned. For over a century, these laws have been enforced with absolute precision, with no exceptions and no shortcuts. Fast forward to the present. When palace officials looked at Archie and Lilet, they weren't seeing public drama. Interviews or headlines, they were checking boxes. A simple, meticulous checklist, and sources say that checklist had cracks. Cracks that could not be ignored under the 1917 rules. The first problem arose with Archie's birth. Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor was born in 2019. On the surface, everything seemed perfect. The media celebrated. Fans rejoiced. Harry and Meghan smiled for the cameras, cradling their newborn. A seemingly ideal royal moment. But deep inside the paperwork, the place where the palace scrutinizes every detail, something unusual occurred. Archie's birth certificate, initially listing Meghan's full legal name Rachel Meghan Markle, was changed. Not corrected, not updated, rewritten. Her name was removed and replaced with her royal title, the Duchess of Sussex. Birth certificates are legal records, permanent documents, not fashion statements or branding tools. Meghan later claimed she never authorized the change, alleging the palace forced it. The palace denied her version. Fingers were pointed from both sides, and in that dispute, a dangerous element emerged. Doubt inside a legally binding royal record. To the monarchy, doubt is intolerable. A flaw in a royal child's documentation is a crack in the crown itself. That quiet alteration marked the first sign of instability in Archie's royal position. From the moment that ink dried, the clock began ticking. By the time Lilet Diana was born in June 2021, the palace had already chosen a course of action to step back and eventually close the door entirely. When Lilet arrived, royal watchers expected the traditional announcement, confirmation from doctors, palace officials appearing in coordinated outfits, a sense of ceremony declaring, another chapter in the Windsor legacy has been written. None of that happened. Instead, the news came from California in a polished press release. No trumpets, no balcony appearance, no senior aides. Not even a full acknowledgement from Buckingham Palace beyond the bare minimum. It was as if the birth of the daughter of a prince was treated as a private affair for a private couple. For the monarchy, that silence spoke volumes. Royal births have never been ordinary. For centuries, they have been national moments, meticulously recorded, verified, and archived for history. Yet with Lilet, the crown had no presence in the documentation. No royal registrar, no British doctors, no supervision. In royal language, silence is louder than any proclamation. Without the crown's official involvement, Lilet's place in history was unprecedented. The decisive moment came months later, with a ceremony meant to solidify Lilet's status of baptism that instead created another problem. Meghan shared photos of the event, joyful, with family and friends present. But inside Buckingham Palace, the reaction was completely different. The Church of England, integral to the monarchy, did not recognize the baptism as official. Without that recognition, Lilet lacked the spiritual and legal connection to the crown that a royal christening ensures. This seemingly minor detail is monumental in royal law. A royal christening is not merely religious. It is the official declaration that the child belongs to the monarchy. Royal water, clergy, witnesses, all in accordance with protocol. None of it occurred in California. As a result, Lilet entered a limbo, loved and celebrated by her family, but unacknowledged by the institution. Now there were two cracks: Archie's altered birth certificate and Lilet's unrecognized christening. Together, they shook the foundation of Meghan's royal persona. From the moment she joined the royal family, Meghan's identity transformed. She was no longer simply Meghan Markle. She became Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, a global figure whose image fused Hollywood glamour with royal prestige. Her interviews, documentaries, podcasts, book deals, photo shoots, and lifestyle ventures all thrived under the glow of her royal connection. But that connection relies on legitimacy. Without her children's royal status, her foundation weakened. She became not a duchess raising heirs, but a former royal raising private American children. Insiders suggest Meghan understood this more clearly than anyone. Her public influence was not based on scandal or headlines. It rested on her heritage, living in Archie and Lilet. Without that recognition, the backbone of her public identity began to crumble. As the cracks widened, Harry became increasingly desperate. Sources indicate he made calls late into the night, not in anger but in fear. The boy who once walked palace corridors now found himself outside, watching the doors close behind him. The loss wasn't personal, it was the legacy he wanted to pass to his children. Harry reportedly begged the palace to reconsider, explaining that stepping back from royal duties didn't negate their lineage. They remained grandchildren of a king, heirs by blood, entitled to their place. The palace's response, however, was cold and formal. One aide allegedly told him, "This is not about emotion. It is about order, lineage, and the future of the crown." For Harry, it was like hitting an ice wall that refused to melt. It wasn't a debate he could win. He realized he was losing not a conversation, but the inheritance of history itself. Then came the final, irreversible move. Royal power is rarely shown through words. Its most powerful acts are written in documents quietly signed behind palace doors. According to sources, the crown finalized paperwork that officially removed Archie and Lilet from royal identity. The action was clear: no titles, no ceremonial duties, no positions in the line of succession, no mention in official records. Archie and Lilet would not appear in the same volumes that had chronicled generations of the House of Windsor. Unlike temporary sanctions or privileges on hold, this was permanent. No appeals, no last-minute negotiations. The palace had declared, "These children do not belong to our future." While Harry and Meghan's story unfolded through interviews, books, and documentaries, the monarchy played a silent, patient game. Silence is a weapon in royal strategy. The crown observed, waited, and let the public spectacle run its course. When the time was right, a surgical strike was made not against Meghan or Harry personally, but against the foundation of their public identity, their children's royal status. Without it, there are no heirs, no lineage continuing in California, and no narrative that challenges the crown.